My name is Jenna Hoover. I am a CEE-Change Fellow. I work as a program educator at Chino Basin Water Conservation District in Montclair, California, which is on Tongva Keech land. And my project was bringing together a group of sixth through 12th grade students as our Groundwater Guardians youth volunteer cohort, where these students developed and led projects related to groundwater in our community and how they can make a change. So being able to have these really meaningful experiences for youth to both see themselves as change makers now, as well as to set them up with skills and experiences that will support them in the future has been a major highlight for me. A kind of vision of let's use this Earth Force process. Earth Force is a great model and structure and provides lots of resources for both formal and non-formal educators to facilitate youth-led civic and community action. And so that felt like that could be a really good resource for us as we kind of did more long-term youth engagement for the first time here. And along the way, we had to realize, my colleague and I, who co-ran this program, that, we have to do a lot of adapting and figuring out how does this program that is generally designed for formal educators, for teachers in the classroom, how does it work for us at a water conservation district where we're seeing these students once a week for an hour and a half rather than every day in a classroom? And so we got to adapt it and had it to definitely make some changes as we went with how even we structured this program, and even realized, some of this feels a bit tough. Like we're asking students to do homework, but we don't want it to feel too much like school. And I even got a chance to talk to Dr. Martha Monroe, who's been doing work around Earth Force, and she's actually developed, or in the process of developing, an Earth Force adaptation for non-formal education settings, like 4-H in her specific context. And it feels like, there's a lot of thinking and adapting and work being done. And yeah, we're in the process of maybe a whole network of environmental educators thinking about that. And I think that's something that we're still trying to figure out now is, what does it look like for us as a water conservation district with maybe less time with students than a formal education setting to be doing really meaningful work with students? And that's even, I guess, affected how we're going forward with this program. We're going to be starting another cohort in this coming school year. And we decided to pivot from having students work on projects to having them focus more on outreach and how they can be communicating to fellow community members and support us at community events where we're tabling or presenting at. And we can see, with this changed focus based off of some of our organization's needs, as well as what we feel like we have capacity for this school year, does that affect the outcomes for the students and their learning experiences? And so it's all like a work in process, but it's been really helpful to have a lot of tools like Earth Force, as well as connections like Dr. Monroe to be, and as well as a fellowship as a whole, to be figuring this out together. So for us as a non-formal setting, we took a resource designed for formal educators, for teachers in the classroom, and looked at what we had available as a non-formal setting, where we said, we have maybe 6 training sessions that are an hour and a half each with our students, and then a couple of meetings throughout the school year to check in and to support students on their projects. But we're definitely not seeing them as much as a classroom teacher would. And so we had to figure out, what is really important and helpful for us from the Earth Force resource in our specific circumstance? And then also recognizing, what do we have available as a non-formal setting that maybe classroom teachers don't have, where we didn't have to have students work on fundraising because we had a lot of supplies and even some funding in-house available for the students. Or we even were able to provide a scholarship for each student who completed the program through some of the funding that we have as an agency, rather than having students feel like, oh, I just need to do this because I'm in a class and this is an assignment. Our students self-selected in and also had incentive to finish the program and to do a good job. And so definitely seeing both, there's definitely some challenges in being a non-formal setting and using this specific curriculum that there's a lot of work being done around how to adapt that now, but also recognizing that there's a lot of advantages we have too as a non-formal setting, both in terms of resources and even more connections, where we got to bring in some of our colleagues, our facilities and operations manager, as well as our community programs educator colleague who's been really involved in our community, and they got to be experts for our students to talk to. And that was a lot easier for us than maybe a teacher having to cold call professionals in the community to come in. So all that to say is, definitely both pros and cons of non-formal education and formal education. But I think there's a lot of opportunity for both with this type of work.